Donald Trump has urged protesters to keep taking to the streets and that his help is on its way. He said he has cancelled all meetings with Iranian officials. Let me put the post from Truth Social onto the screen, because he has written, "Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions, save the names of the killers and abusers. They will pay a big price." And then he says he's cancelled all those meetings with Iranian officials that had been planned until, as he puts it, the senseless killing of protesters stops. Let's go straight to Washington, straight to our correspondent Paul Adams. And Paul, we saw the president get on to Air Force One, add very little to that statement, but it is significant in terms of what he's outlined there.
Yeah, he obviously indicated that the statement, the Truth Social statement, speaks for itself. And I think we're right to highlight it and much of the language in it, because it does sound like a president who has decided on a course of action, and also has decided that the Iranian regime may be on its last legs, and that hence the kind of urging of the protesters to take over institutions, to log the names of people who are oppressing them. It really does sound as though Donald Trump believes that this is the moment to bring down or to hasten the end of the Islamic regime in Iran. Now, he talked about cancelling meetings with Iranian officials. We don't know, frankly, that any meetings were actually scheduled. We'd heard him over the weekend saying that there had been some kind of outreach from the Iranians wanting to have a diplomatic dialogue, presumably about Iran's nuclear program, the subject of ongoing conversations with the Americans. And he indicated that he was willing to have that, but that action might have to come first. He seems now to be suggesting that he's not interested in having any of those conversations, and that action may be imminent and may even be on its way. That last phrase, help is on its way. What does he mean by that? We don't know.
And of course, any action, and of course it is worth underlining all the caveats, we don't know what that is, but say if it was a military strike in part, it all carries significant risk as well, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. I mean, he has a huge range of options, from, a repeat of what we saw last summer with B-2 bombers flying all the way from Missouri to deliver their bombs onto parts of Iran's nuclear program, to Tomahawk missile strikes launched from submarines much closer to Iran that could take out specific facilities. Let's say, for example, a headquarters or a barracks of the kinds of besieged militiamen who are involved in repressing protests on the streets. There's been talk in the media here of cyber attacks, of disinformation campaigns designed to confuse and demoralize the Iranian regime. I mean, he has an enormous range of options. I think the one thing you can be pretty sure of is that this is not a president thinking about putting US boots on the ground, or even conducting an operation like what we saw with Venezuela just a little over a week ago, with helicopters flying in and capturing the leader of that country. We're not going to be seeing that kind of thing. Those are simply far too risky. There's the spectre of Jimmy Carter's efforts to rescue American hostages held in Tehran after the Iranian Revolution in 1979. That ended in disaster and had terrible political consequences for Jimmy Carter, something that Donald Trump alluded to only the other day. But he does have a range of options, and it may not be long before we find out which one he's chosen.
Paul, I hope you can stay with me, but I want to bring in Jihar Goel from BBC Persian, who's here in the studio. And Jihar, just summarise for people watching and listening the scale of the protests we've seen and the most recent reports about numbers of deaths and those detained.
In the past few days, human rights organizations, they said around 650 people have been killed. That was the number they could identify. That was the number before the complete shutdown of internet. But we know in the past 6 days, during the shutdown of internet and completely cut off communication with outside world, there was the heavy crackdown on protesters. Matthew, in the past few days, some people went to the border with Iran, had a SIM card from a neighboring country, get a signal, send out a message. A very small group of people had Starlink satellite connections. They get in touch with us, send messages. The message we are getting is very common from every corner of the country, from small and large hospitals from Tehran to a small town Abdanan in west of Iran. They said our hospitals are overwhelmed with injured young men and women. Our morgue is piled up with the bodies of young men and women. We just saw a picture from parents, from mother, father, lining up in front of the morgue and forensic in Tehran to identify their loved one, to collect the bodies of those people who have been killed. I think, Matthew, the numbers we are hearing from so many people, there is a fear. The numbers of those people who have been killed and injured must be in many thousands.
Jihat, stay with me because let us try to get more on exactly where you ended up. Camelia Antrabifard is the editor-in-chief of the Independent Persian. She joins us live on the programme, and thank you so much for being here with us. I know you have relatives inside Iran. I'm told that you have tried to make contact. What is the latest that you are hearing?